Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome into another edition of Feed the Bears, where we take care of you guys with this content. We're going to feed you Bear fans, man, with all the content we can give you. Man, listen, let me jump right on into it. I'm not going to hold y'all today. I had a couple of people ask me uh personally, he's like, hey man, can you break down what Dennis Allen's defense is going to be like? What should we expect? A couple people asked me to do it, and this is my pleasure right here because it's my thing. Defense is what I'm all about. My mind thinks defense and leans defense first when I think about football. That's just because I'm a defender. I played so the 4-3 style of defense. Let's talk about where we just came from. The 4-3 style of defense that Matt Eberflus played was very, very traditional, pretty old fashioned, and pretty reactive. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Playing in both in this defense, both in high school and in college, I just know it backwards and forwards. I'm not trying to, you know, act like I know more than everybody else. I'm just going to explain it to you in a way that I know it is. And in the comparison is very stark between Matt Eberflus and Dennis Allen. First of all, let me start off by giving Dennis Allen all the props I can give him. This is my personal opinion. Now, it might be a little controversial for you and who you think of and, all that. But I personally think Dennis Allen is, if not the best, he's one of the best defensive coordinators and play callers in the league. Number one, just straight out right there at the top of the echelon. I think he's, if not the best, he's one of them. And I'm talking about a couple, two, three, maybe in that echelon with him. Several really good defensive coordinators in the league, but the ones I consider elite are the really, really aggressive ones. And Dennis Allen is definitely that. So back to the point I wanted to make about the difference between a Matt Eberflus defense and a Dennis Allen. Matt Eberflus is basically more of a cover 2, cover 3 type of play caller. And the expectation for Matt Eberflus it's a great concept. It's a great concept, but only when you have the players up front that you need. And when I say the players up front that you need, I mean every last one of them need to be dominant football players. Every last one of them. So the concept is we should be able to get home with 4. That's our pass pressure. Get home with 4. And when you cannot get home with 4, what are you left with? You left with linebackers playing in a whole lot of coverage when they should be playing up close to the line of scrimmage and taking care of stuff in the run. And so it was frustrating. I mean, so frustrating doing live games, watching Matt Eberflus call his defense and it be so poor. And, what's horrible about it is you can see this stuff from a mile away. Like I was watching a game, I think it might have been against Houston. And CJ Stroud just completely tore up every hole in the defense, man. Like the hole right behind the will linebacker and it's either the will linebacker or the nickel corner is a hole right between him and the deep safety. And he just ate it up, threw slants on it. It's the easiest concept to figure out. But when you don't have guys up front that can get home and you continuously try to get home with 4 and you don't adapt, send 5, send 6. It is totally frustrating to watch as a fan. And as a player that played in that type of defense, you have to adjust, you have to adapt. Carbon copy of Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen, number one, the number one characteristics to take away from a Dennis Allen defense is you better be fast and you better be aggressive. There is no playing this thing at 95%, 98%, 99%. Everybody needs to be playing at 100%. You need to be running downhill and getting after the ball. That's the concept. It's not very complicated. There's times when you'll see a linebacker roll back and let's say robber or spy defense where he's kind of eyeballing the quarterback and jumping back into a hole to take it away from the quarterback. That's rare in his defense. Most of the time, the difference between an Eberflus linebacker and a Dennis Allen linebacker, their first steps in Dennis Allen's defense for a linebacker are forward. You're going up front. You're going up to fit that run. And you're going to be sideline to sideline. You better be fast. And you better be a sure tackler. Those are the characteristics you need to know about a Dennis Allen defense. Also, with the D line, there's edge rushers need to be a certain body type. They need to be a certain body type. So you're going to have a bigger, more stout guy that's going to be able to kick inside at times. And so there's no edge rushers that's going to play solely out on the edge on this team. Those guys are going to play inside. They're going to play outside, and even the three techs or the nose or the defensive tackles. Javon Dexter is going to be playing, one. He's going to play three. He's going to play five. Going to even play some wide nine from time to time. He's going to have to be flexible. But whatever it is they do, it's going to have to be fast. Another thing to point out is he loves to twist and stunt. So the D linemen really need to be versatile. Really need every last one of them. It's going to be a certain kind of body type. It's going to be a certain kind of body type. But let's talk about a little bit further into some of the things that show up on film. I got a few notes here, so bear with me for a second. Now, this is a particular kind of characteristic. It's not uncommon. And so you see a lot of 12 and 13 personnel on offenses in the NFL. It's just a lot of people run those concepts. They really, get into a lot of combination, play action routes and different stuff that they do out of those 12 and 13 personnel formations. And what you see Dennis Allen use to counter that is a lot of 5-man fronts. And so what I mean by that, you got your regular 4-down lineman. You might take an edge. I mean, not an edge, but a linebacker, one of your bigger, sturdier linebackers, and you have him line up as an extra edge to set the edge. And so that's a common trait that I see in his defenses. Not a reactive defense, but more of a proactive defense. That's probably the biggest stark difference between him and Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus was a straight up reactive defense. That defense played so passive. And Dennis Allen is not that guy. He is not that guy. He is going to dictate the tempo to the offense. He's going to make them adjust what they're doing because the defense is going to be aggressive and get downhill and really, really get after disrupting what they want to do. It's a very proactive defense. It looks like offense being played on defense. And for me, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly why I enjoy watching his stuff on film. Nobody wants to be in a passive, really, it's just bad looking, man, because you're not putting people in positions to really succeed. And no player wants that, man. They want to be able to attack downhill, and they don't want to look bad playing back in coverage. And, the ball is constantly moving down the field. It's not bend, but bend don't break. Not at all. Not at all. It's attack, and what the hell are you going to do about it? That's it. It's not doesn't throw too many disguises at you, not a lot of wrinkles. It's just like, we're going to show you what it is, and you're just going to have to beat it. And so the other characteristics I point out with the linebackers, of course, they need to be sideline to sideline and sure tacklers. That's one of the reasons I think he's going to really, really like the linebacker group that we got inside the building, man, because all of those guys really fit that characteristic. Every last one of them, from Tremaine to all the way down to Jack Sanborn and Noah Sewell, he's going to love those guys. I don't know that we're going to be able to keep Jack Sanborn. We had a conversation about that. That's yet to be seen. But those are some of the characteristics. Another thing that is going to be different, the DBs, the corners, and the safeties are going to have to be sticky, man-to-man cover corners. That is going to be their base concepts is going to be playing press man-to-man. Press man-to-man versus zone, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. No, a lot of times they're not going to have eyes on the quarterback. They're going to be tacked up playing man-to-man and, basically being ball defenders. That's it. And so the difference between those two coordinators is huge. I mean, let me get to a couple more notes on here. Let me see. Twist and stunt, I already mentioned that. Loves to do that. Hardly one of the other things that I noticed is you hardly ever see. In fact, I don't remember. I've been looking at Dennis Allen film for a while, and I went and looked at film to as far back as 2 years ago. And it's hard for me to remember a time when I seen an edge rusher fall back into coverage. So that's going to be another difference you see between Dennis Allen and Matt Eberflus. I just know this, man. Really, really quickly, we're going to find out exactly what Dennis Allen thinks of this personnel. And so I do believe when you heard him say that, he feels like they have a pretty solid foundation here. What he means by that is he thinks they have the core pieces to make this defense really good already. Now it's about going out and finding some stuff to really bolster it. Getting a couple extra D linemen in free agency, drafting a couple of them, getting some corners. It might be a corner or two on this team. Like, we'll have a conversation about this later on. I don't know, Terrell Smith, he comes out of a concept of a zone-based concept. Not to say that he can't play man-to-man, but that's one of the guys that I think about when I think about, how will these guys fit into Dennis Allen's scheme. He's one of the guys that I got a real good question mark around him because he's so accustomed to so many zone-based coverages. And that's just a stark difference in what he's going to be asked to do under Dennis Allen. He's going to have to tack up and play man-to-man. Another player that really concerns me, and this has nothing to do with his concussion issues and nothing like that, but, Brisker he's very aggressive, but I don't know how comfortable I am with him, watching him, cover down the field man-to-man. He's used to playing in zone concepts as well. Not to say that he can't do it, but that's one of the guys I have question marks about. We might need I wouldn't be surprised if they definitely draft a different safety and maybe bring in another safety during, the offseason and free agency. I just don't see Jaquan Brisker as a proficient man-to-man cover safety. I have no problems with Kevin Byard. I know that's what they did a lot in Tennessee, so I know what he can do there. So he will love Kevin Byard. I have no questions about that. But, those are some of the characteristics. The things to remember is whatever it is, it needs to be fast. I don't think his defense has a whole lot of rules to it, and it doesn't need to be. Just be fast, be aggressive. If you make a mistake, make it fast. Make a mistake and be fast about it. This is going to happen, but every last one of those guys are going to need to be going 110% at all times. They're going to need to be aggressive, and they're going to need to be sure tacklers. Those are the things that you would want to take away from the whole situation. But that's my thoughts on Dennis Allen and what this defense is going to look like here in Chicago. Probably do another one or two of those as I continue to look at some of the film. It might be some stuff that comes out later on because I'm still like maybe 2 years back or a year behind to what the current defense looks like. So I might run into some more interesting nuggets to come and bring you guys. But that's what I got for today, man. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out if you like this content. And if you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe. Don't be selfish about that, y'all. But I got to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, people, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am